You gonna sit with me while we do this?
So Adam, what's it like to be Adam the dachshund?
Are we really live?
Yeah.
Look at the camera, Adam. Look at the camera.
What do you say? Do you like your doggy food? Are you satisfied with the number of walks you get? Do you love mommy, daddy, and auntie? And grandma and grandpa? And grandma?
He's like, yes.
And Uncle Tai Tai? And Uncle Brian? And Uncle Danny? And Uncle Brandon?
He's got a big family.
He sure does.
Crazy cousin Samson.
Okay, are we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This episode, or I should say live feed, Conquering Love Live, I thought it would be cool to interview my caregiver, Senia, who has been my caregiver for going on 15 years. There was a brief hiatus during that 15 years where you left.
For like 7 months or something.
And then you came back
I never could.
when we were both in time of need.
Yes. And it worked out well.
It did. So, how long have you been caregiving?
For you, for almost 15 years.
Just in general.
In general, let's see. I started when I was 18. So 17 years. Hey, stop.
And
You're not helping the live production.
what do you like about caregiving the most?
Okay. What do I like? I think I like caregiving because I like helping. I love being able to help people out. And of course with Haley, it's a bonus that she likes to travel. So that's always nice. I like getting to go places. And I think I just like seeing people get better. I think it's really important.
But I'm not really necessarily getting
No,
better
not in
from
your
something.
case, but you're healthy.
Yeah.
And I take care of you, which is good. It keeps you healthy. Preferably not make you worse. Or break you.
Okay, and the next thing I want to get into is compared to now, which is I'm sharing my life with somebody,
Yes.
and I've been sharing my life with her for going on 8 years,
8 years.
married, 9 years almost together. How has your role changed as a caregiver, and what's changed
What's changed?
for you?
Okay. I don't know if so much has changed as much as it's becoming more aware of sharing your space, becoming more, maybe words like open-minded to other people's thoughts and feelings and lifestyles. Yeah, it's pretty much like having another roommate for me, but I'm only here 3 days a week, so that makes it a little easier. I'm not here all the time. That's probably the biggest thing, just getting used to the shift
A
of
third person.
Yeah, and in all cases, I mean, for all of us, I think it's, a third person.
And do you think your role has changed at all?
Um,
Or become less?
Probably a little less. I mean, I don't do as much, but I also, there's things she does that I can't do, and there's things, you don't want me to do. And there's probably things you prefer I do that you don't have to make her do. So, so there's good time, there's good medium to it.
Is it or was it hard for you to, I would say, pull back a little bit?
Sometimes it is. I can admit. Sometimes it's hard. I think it depends on what it's at. I mean, part of it's learning to do it without stepping on someone else's toes. And part of it's about just being like, one step ahead and not thinking like, oh, I hope Angie doesn't feel like I'm stepping on her toes. I'm just doing what I know what Haley would want next. And sometimes it's just, I don't even notice I haven't done it, and I don't mind if someone else does it. So it depends on what we're doing, where we're going, who's with us.
Yeah.
So trying to become more aware of that, like not stepping on your toes or her toes or anybody else's toes and vice versa. It's always a lesson.
And I think what helps your role is me being communicative verbally
Yes,
of
that's
what my needs
incredibly
are.
important.
And sometimes I struggle with being specific in my needs. and I'm working on that. I'm trying to be more direct and just aware of what I need to do for me. And that can be hard.
I think communication is important for all three of us. I think that's really important because I think, every one of us has a right to have a say without feeling stepped on or not listened to, but also trying to find a medium where you're not demanding I do or you do or she do something.
I think if I get better at it, it will help you too.
Yeah, because then I know how to better. I better understand how to help you without stepping on her toes, but also not ignoring you and then not knowing.
It's a work in progress for me because.
Yeah, because you're learning too.
Yeah.
It's not your first instinct to be very direct.
No, because for so long I've just had my parents take care of me. For 18 years, and they just knew what to do. I didn't have to be like, well, this is what I want for dinner. Yeah. And this is what I need you to do now, because that was all already thought of.
Yeah. And they weren't really stepping on toes, per se.
When I was going to college, back so many years ago now, a lot of those things were already provided for me. Such as, basically meal prep, meals. Those were already provided.
You just had to decide. Do you want burgers or sausage?
And there was a routine. I just, I'd go to class and then I would come home and then, it was kind of...
You just needed to tell me what the plan was for the day.
And then when you step out of college and you're on your own, that's when things get more challenging. Because... Now I'm making up the rules for the day.
Or trying to figure out how to do that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're trying to figure out your plan and your path and how to not, step on anybody.
I think it's...
definitely a learning lesson.
Harder now.
It's different, for sure. Maybe not harder, but different, for sure. That's for sure.
Does the job being a caregiver, does it get lonely because you're almost living someone else's life and not your own?
Sometimes there are moments when it's lonely because, there's times where people are in town and I can't always visit, or I can't just be like, okay, Lee, I'm going to run to Adrian's or Megan's or Kelly's or whatever. But at the same time, no, because for me especially, unlike you two, you're a little more quiet and
we're more introverted.
Yeah, introverted. I'm way more interactive. I like constant attention and interaction. So I think being here kind of helps sometimes because I get to have two people around me all the time, or at least one if one of you's not home. So for me, it's never really that bad. Lonely. Yeah, it's not that lonely. There are moments, of course, where I wish I could go somewhere on a Friday night because my girlfriends are all going out, or and it's always worked really well in my relationship because we've just always had the same schedule. So for my relationship, there's not, we joke, but I think being together 7 days a week, every evening would probably be rough just because we are used to this, like me gone 3 days and me home 3 days. So it works for me. But,
am I easy to work for?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're really simple. Because there's days where we do a ton and there's days where I get to watch TV for a few hours and we just relax and we have coffee and we hang out, and that can be really nice too. It's good when you have busy days, though, because I do love doing stuff. I do love interaction, and I do love going places.
And I bet my new job is perfect then for you.
It is. I do like that you're at the Y. That helps a lot. It gives me a whole bunch of new people to hang out with every day and talk to and see. And I also get my permanent birth control from watching all the little children.
Okay. So I think those are basically my questions for me. Do you have any questions, babe? No? Do you have any questions for me about...
No, I don't think so.
What's the hardest thing you've ever gone through as a caregiver?
Probably my hospice patient that I had, he passed away. That was probably one of the hardest situations I ever had because I never experienced it before, and I wasn't... I really didn't want to experience that ever. But in the moment, it was the perfect thing because it gave me the experience that I needed to have it. Probably after that, the hardest things have probably been watching, you go through some of your accidents and not being able to just fix it because there's nothing to do when you're in the hospital. I can't really magically make it better. Yeah, I think that's it. Everything else has been pretty easy. I mean, for the most part, you're pretty fun-loving, easygoing, and, you know, good to work for.
If you weren't caregiving, what would you like to do next?
That's a good question. I have gotten that a lot lately. I don't know.
Not
honestly.
to put you on the spot.
No, honestly, I really don't know. I mean, you know, of course, if I could have my dream job, it would be, you know, working for a celebrity, traveling the world, you know, doing really just whatever celebrity assistants do, which I'm sure is still very, very stressful.
I'm sure it is.
But yes, realistically, I have no idea. I might keep caregiving, but I might try to stick more to like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, got to go home. I don't know. That is an interesting question. A lot of people have asked. And sadly, a lot of that entails, for the most part, if I want anything else, I have to go back to school. And that's just a lot of stress in my mind right now, not thinking, really don't, school is not my idea, but a fun idea. So, but yeah, that's,
I understand.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really, I mean, of course, I would love my dream job to just appear tomorrow. Hey,
Adam, you stop.
you're okay.
This isn't about you.
I don't know what's going on. You don't even hear anything, I don't think. You're just very distressed. Oh my. It's hard to be a dog.
You're very distressed.
You are. What do you see over there? I don't even see anything. Is there a ghost here?
Do we have any viewers or people writing in at all?
Not really, not that I can see.
How sad.
That's okay. They always watch later, I notice.
I know, but I like, I want to be one of those vloggers that when you go live, you get like thousands of people coming in on you.
And lots of questions.
Yeah, but we have to
and
be
interaction.
regular and be at the same time every day.
I think one of the things I do like about being here that helps is that I always get new things in my life. Like, I would never have heard of Miranda sings, or, sometimes Angie and I get to talk about shows that she only watches that you would never watch. Like, get to have that interaction. That's really nice. If there's anything I could change about the job, I think, well, there's nothing really, I don't think there's anything you wouldn't know. I think there's always those small things. Like, of course, it'd be nice if everybody was on the same page and there was never having to be like, oh shit, we should probably talk about that. I didn't think about that. Or nobody feeling not heard or not, being stepped on. I think the biggest, hardest thing besides communication is that we all also have different energies. And so sometimes I think we don't mean to, but they definitely fill the home, that's for sure. And then they kind of, we don't mean to, but we overstep on each other's energy and we try not to make the other person feel bad, but then we're in that mood or we are sad, and so we tend to get a little, So we, it's always good to remind myself, I try to remind myself, to be calm and try to just be here. I've also learned a lot in the last year about just letting go, not worrying about it. You apologize for things sometimes. Like, I'm sorry, I was talking to Angie, I know you wanted to bathe me. Like, trying to just let that all go. Like, when you're ready, you'll call me. I don't need to be up your butt about it. And you don't ever have to apologize that you wanted to spend time with her, or that you just wanted 10 minutes to yourself, or that you wanted to have the dog, or that Angie wanted 10 minutes with you.
This is my life.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't feel like you should, have to apologize, and I don't need to be up your butt about it. It's fine. You'll come to me, and I will be there.
But that was an adjustment.
Yeah, because it's so easy to be like, okay, they want to bathe, so we should just bathe. But then I realize, like, okay, I don't need to be.
Up.
Yeah, things come up, life happens, and you shouldn't have to apologize for those things. It's not like, you purposely are trying to like get me going and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna leave her in there for an hour waiting. Like, you came home from work, you wanted to relax. That's fine. I'll be here when you're.
And I do that with her too.
Yeah,
Sometimes I say like, okay, we'll do that, and then I get distracted and I'm on to something else, and then she's like, honey, are we gonna do whatever you said we were gonna do now? And then I'm like, oh yeah. So it's I just do that in general, and I don't mean to.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just get distracted.
Yep, and that's why I try not to put it on you or make you feel like you should have to feel bad that you didn't do it when you said you were going to do it. It's fine. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. It's life.
I think flexibility is definitely something that is a necessity.
It is, and I haven't always been good
job.
at that. Yeah, I haven't always been good at that, because it is easy to be like, okay, well, we need to do it, and then you kind of forget that it's not just because I need to, or because it needs to, doesn't mean that it has to happen right now. So it's taken some adjustment. Whatever.
Can I ask you anything, babe? Or
Sure.
no? How has it been for you, being my spouse, to share me with somebody else who's somewhat very close to me? Not necessarily intimately, but I would say maybe a little emotionally, and just having that history with me.
So we're gonna go deep, huh? We're gonna get real.
This is what this is about.
Well, you didn't tell me that, but that's okay. That's okay. We're live. I'm gonna just keep it together. I'm gonna put the camera on Adam while I talk. I look a fright. What was the question?
Well, how has it been for you? Hard?
I wouldn't say hard per se. It's like Xenia said, it's an adjustment. Like you were saying, it's an adjustment, especially when you're with someone that you've been so close with for all these years. It's hard for me sometimes to know where I stand, what my role is in your life. But other than that, it hasn't been too hard. I mean, it's been fun having Xenia and Tammy and Deanne and Sassy. You know, it's like you have a built-in friend or built-in,
Sister in a way.
yeah, sister.
Or mom.
So it's cool to have that relationship and that interaction. It is hard because I've always just kind of kept to myself. So I've never really had to interact with, like, say, what am I trying to say? Speak for me.
I don't know.
I
It's
can't
okay.
speak. I can't be put on the spot.
It's just been a little hard.
Just hard because it's an adjustment. But I love the caregivers. They're great. They do great things for you and for me. So there's that. I think growing up I had siblings, but I always kept to myself. You know, I was always in my room doing my own thing, and I never really had to, like, grow up with that tension of a sibling. You know, I didn't have girls to fight with or interact with, so I didn't really know how that goes, per se. So,
Well, I just want to say that I think walking into my life, you have really been flexible and accepting of me and everything that comes with me. And I really appreciate it and acknowledge it. And I'm very thankful and blessed.
I think Angie's very right too. I think it has a lot to do with finding your role, and that's really hard because it is easy to be like, like we have been friends for so long that we're almost like family, but then I have a partner and you have a wife, and so then sometimes it means like you and Angie need your space or your time or your vacation, but then it's like, but I'm family, so like of course I'm always invited to everything, but I'm not. I also have my own partner who wants my life or our time, or so it's finding that. She's very right. It's finding that role where nobody feels like they're left out, but also understanding that's not fair to just invade your space or be like, but it's instant. If you guys are going on family vacation, then I'm going. But that's not always fair because that's not the reality of life. So sometimes I think, being here as long as I have been, there is that line. It's almost like, we've almost gone too far past the line to some extent, because it's not just you're my boss and I go home at 5 o'clock. We become friends and we've been like family. So I think the role gets a little...
And you've met my whole family.
Yeah, and it's a little gray.
Yeah.
So it's been a little hard because then Angie comes in and she wants to have her role, which is your wife or your partner. And so then it's different. And obviously she has some roles that I will never fill. But at the same time, it is hard. I can understand trying to find that.
We're not going to say those
That
other
medium.
roles.
No. But finding that medium and also respecting that Angie has a right to want her role and to fill it without feeling like I'm stepping on it, even though that's not what I try to do when I do things, try to include both of you also. But sometimes it's hard to do all, everything together, or, not try to make somebody feel a little third wheelish in any situation, and that can be hard. So Angie's right. Finding the role is very, can be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So, be nice if it was really crystal cut, clear, but it's not. So.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
It's okay. You're fine. I have a question for you, honey. What do you feel about all this? What's it like being in the middle of living your life as an adult?
It's really kind of stressful to share my life with like a shadow, kind of. That's how I use it, as a shadow. Because if there's like a special moment between you and I that not necessarily is private, but still just something I don't want to share with a third person, I might have to share it with a third person.
Because they're there.
Because they're there. And so that's hard because, it's like Senia and her spouse. There's things that they go through every day that they don't have to share it with anybody. And I'll never know what they were because no one else was there. No, So they get to have that moment when it was just their moment.
Yeah.
And for me and you, sometimes a lot of our moments are shared. And yes, we are sharing part of our life on this journey online. And that's something that I'm choosing and you're choosing. And I'm even very selective with what I share online with people because I have to share so much already of my life without cameras on. So it's hard, it's stressful, but it's my reality. It's not really that changeable, really. I could have chose to live my life without anybody, like without a spouse, without a partner. But that never was in my mind. I always wanted to be with somebody. That was always part of my plan. So, and I never knew how it would come about. I never knew what it would look like. So it's not how I envisioned it as a child, but...
Sorry.
And it's not how I envision, how you see it in the movies.
It's never like that.
And I think anyone can say that about a relationship. It's not like the movies.
Never like that.
Angie and I have gone through some pretty tough things in our relationship. And
you're strong.
Things that aren't really always commonplace for a typical marriage. But we've gone through it and gone through it, and we've come, through the other side, thankfully, because we're both strong people, individually and together. So that's how I handle it. I just look at it like there's always someone worse off than me. So
that is true. Yeah, I understand how you feel. Like it'd be great if you guys could always just have one day a week where anything good or bad that you wanted private could just happen on that one day, where it was just you two. But that's not how the real world works. If that was how it was, then we could all plan for catastrophes to happen on a certain day, not when we don't want it to, and that's not how the world works.
There's also the instance of anything that happens here that Senia witnesses. She can go home and then tell whoever she wants to about my life.
Which is hard.
And that's a risk that I have to take every day. I have to trust her that she's not going to be blabbing whatever happened that week to her friends.
Yeah.
And that's one of the sucky things about it.
Yeah, it's hard on both sides because it is hard when you have to worry about like what do you guys think when I have trauma, or what happens when Angie has trauma, or what happens when you have, it's like, it's hard because all of us have to think about, like, what do you guys think?
What do you mean trauma?
Like, if something happens, like, I don't want you guys, it's the same thing. Like, you worry about what I say, but it's the same thing. Like, what you and Angie think sometimes when something happens to me, or when
but
I don't
know as much of what happens to you.
But it's that thing.
Because I'm not there. I'm not there 4 days a week.
Yeah, and I do try to tell you stuff, but I don't tell you everything. But I do tell you a lot. But yeah, it's always that, like, well, what do you guys think? And like, I don't want you to have you know what I mean? But it's also, she's your partner, so of course you share things with her, and there's things I'm sure I share with my partner, just like there's things I share with you.
Knows that nobody else knows.
And there's things and there's things my wife only knows
because
that
she's the only person I've trusted.
Yeah, or you may not have realized you've never said it to somebody, but you told Angie once, and you don't think about telling me because it doesn't pertain to me. So it's hard. I get how you feel. It's a lot of trust.
It's a lot of trust, and throughout these last few years, I've had people, ruin my trust. And now it makes trusting people a little harder for me. That's in the workplace. That's in friends. That's in, coworkers, caregivers. It's just hard sometimes.
This job takes a lot of physical trust and emotional.
Trust, emotional trust.
Yeah.
So,
not easy sometimes.
You have any other questions for me? I like your questions.
You do?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for putting your life out there and your thoughts out there, because I know you were pretty hesitant in the beginning of this whole ANHP project. You were hesitant to talk about you and your struggles and your life, and which makes it hard because I like to do the behind the scenes work, and I can't do that if I'm on the camera. So, and also I think this is a really important thing for you to talk about this stuff to people, because people don't get it.
Well, these are the things I struggle with every day, and I don't talk about them because I don't like complaining. I don't like talking about things publicly online. That's just not me. I share enough already, like I said, day to day with that these type of things, feelings, I'm going to keep them for me because I need to have something that's just mine, But I've had a lot of support in, just other people in the industry that have gone through similar situations and put it out there and not hide who they are, hide how they feel. And so I thank those people that have given me inspiration to do that.
And one last tidbit I want to say, and you guys can weigh in on it, is not only is this a representation of the able-bodied, disabled person relationship, but it also, I think we're putting this out here to show what a real lesbian relationship looks like. Because you mentioned before movies and the TV, it's not like what you see in the movies. Well, we aren't even represented in the mainstream media. Lesbians aren't. And
no, we're not.
And if there is a lesbian character, she's either just kidding herself and she ends up falling in love with a man in the end, or she dies of some horrible disease or tragic accident. Like, there's no real representation of what it's like to be in a lesbian partnership. Or they totally, make it a perversion. And it's just like some sexy woohoo thing. It's not like a serious narrative. So I think that us putting our relationship out there kind of is also educational in that way.
I agree with you.
I agree too with what you were saying. Like, I think sometimes you get to see, some of your favorite people put their everything out there, and it makes you aware. And I think that helps in your case, because I think you putting some of your opinions out there gives friends of yours or others who are looking also, like,
that's right.
You're not the only OIer in the world who has a girlfriend, or not the only person who's in a lesbian relationship or has complications, or we all have some struggle. And you're right, and it's not as as TV makes it.
Like I said,
it's not just fixed in 30 minutes.
Not trying to talk over
It's
you.
okay.
And for some people, like myself, it's hard for me to talk about my feelings, my emotions. That's just not me. But I'm learning to, trying to, and I'm doing it for those people that need support too. That's part of why we started this channel and this page, is to show people that, and I've said this in other videos, but I'll say it again, that to people that are in love, that have challenges, can make it work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Physical or emotional challenges.
Yeah.
Or, you know, psychological challenges.
Yeah. And Angie's very right. TV definitely does not show a great vision. You know, it's either really unrealistic, or it's a perversion, or it's only girls who want to just bang other girls and never really settle, and nothing, you know, TV's so unrealistic. It shows everything just being fixed in 35 minutes, or that, you know, all you have to do is cry a little and somebody will save you, and that's not the reality of the real life. There are things that hurt. There are moments that are not easily fixed. There are emotions that get stepped on that aren't always quick to bounce back from. And it's just, I mean, you know, like I said earlier, I think communication is incredibly key. Being open and talking and trying to be aware.
That's right.
Is really important. And I think we don't do that enough anymore. I think we, you know, I think we do. I think we tend to just live in our own little bubble. And that's it.
And I just want to say to those able-bodied couples, or, you know, couples that don't have any real obstacles in their way, I want you guys to appreciate that and be thankful that you have the freedom to live your relationship pretty much independently. I mean, unless you have kids or something, or roommates. But, you know, because it is hard to share it with a third person, and, you know, it's tough, not just for me, but for Angie too. Angie in a different way. But just be thankful that you have your physical freedom and your, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Mental stability.
Mental stability. So.
There's one thing we have that they don't have. Adam Deduction.
Yes. You've spoken out a lot today.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Lower your decibels just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what?
Adam, what do you think about life?
He's like, it makes me tired.
Did you get ready for this interview today? Okay, say bye-bye. Anything else?
No.
All right, I'm good.
Just thank you, Senior, for your time and your open and honestness.
Yeah.
And you, honey, for setting all this up for us. And to our viewers, fans, friends, and family, thank you for watching. And share this video if you can, please. All right, I love you all. We're signing out.
Bye.
Peace.
How do you turn this off?